So let's talk about something that's kind of wild. Rachel Zegler is the actress who plays the main role in Disney's new live action Snow White movie. That's a huge deal. I mean, we're talking about one of the most famous Disney princesses ever, and she got picked to be the star. You'd think she'd be super excited and supportive of the movie, right? Well, not exactly. Instead of hyping up the movie and getting people excited to watch it, Rachel started doing interviews where she said some pretty surprising things. In one clip that went super viral, she said the original Snow White movie from 1937 was weird, creepy, and even called it misogynistic, which basically means she thought it was unfair to women. She pointed out that in the old version, Snow White falls in love with a guy who, in her words, literally stalks her. She made it sound like the love story was totally messed up and said it didn't make sense anymore. Now, sure, she's allowed to have her opinion, but here's the thing. She's starring in that exact movie. It's like being the lead singer of a band and then telling everyone the album is trash before it even comes out. Fans and even people who weren't fans thought it was really strange that someone would talk about their own project like that. A lot of people were confused and even upset. Some thought Rachel sounded like she didn't even want to be part of the movie. Others felt like she was trying too hard to be woke or modern and was putting down something a lot of people grew up loving. Whether you agree with her or not, one thing was clear. It made headlines, and not in a good way. It wasn't just one interview either. She said stuff like this in multiple interviews and press events. Over time, it started to feel like a pattern. Instead of promoting the movie and making people excited to see it, Rachel was kind of making it sound like it wasn't even worth watching. That's a pretty big deal when you're the face of a $370 million movie. In the world of Hollywood and big-budget movies, the star's job isn't just to act. They're also supposed to sell the movie to audiences. If the star doesn't believe in it, why should anyone else? So, while her comments may have been honest, they also may have played a big role in turning people off from seeing Snow White. That's why some people say these interviews were the first big mistake that led to the movie flopping and Disney losing hundreds of millions of dollars. Before Disney's new Snow White movie even hit theaters, Rachel Zegler was doing interviews and posting online, like most stars do when they're promoting a big movie. But in one video, she said something that a lot of people thought was kind of cocky. She said something like, "People will wait in line to see me." Now, that's a super confident thing to say. Maybe she was just trying to show some self-love or believe in herself, which isn't always a bad thing. But when you say something that bold, people are definitely going to remember it and hold you to it. And guess what? When Snow White finally came out, the total opposite happened. Not only were people not waiting in line to see her, a lot of theaters were completely empty. Some fans even walked out of the movie early. And when those old clips of Rachel saying everyone would be lining up started to resurface, it quickly became a huge meme. People shared it all over the internet, putting it next to photos of deserted movie theaters. It was honestly kind of embarrassing. Instead of being known for a record-breaking premiere or a box office hit, the quote became the unofficial tagline of the flop. It was like the internet had turned her own words into a punchline. Some people thought she jinxed the movie. Others felt like she had too much ego for someone starring in a remake of a classic. And sadly, the quote just added more fuel to the fire of the movie's failure. It's a lesson that went viral. Be careful what you say online, especially if you're the face of a $370 million movie. Because if things go wrong, the internet will never let you forget it. In the end, instead of fans lining up to see her like she expected, it felt like the only line forming was the one full of critics, memes, and angry Disney fans. So here's where things got even more awkward. Rachel Zegler decided to support her own movie in what seemed like a sweet, maybe even smart way. She went to the theater on opening weekend, bought tickets for Snow White, and even brought a couple of friends. She filmed herself sitting in the theater, probably thinking, "Hey, this will show fans I care about the movie. Maybe it'll help get people to watch it." Sounds like a nice idea, right? Well, it didn't go as planned. The theater was completely empty. Not a single other person showed up, and the video of her sitting there, alone, watching her own movie, spread like wildfire. It didn't look like a fun night out. It looked like a super expensive watch party that nobody else got invited to. Instead of coming across as humble or relatable, the video made people feel secondhand embarrassment. It was like watching a scene from a movie about a singer whose concert flopped, except this was real life. People online were quick to make jokes. Some said it looked like a Netflix night gone wrong. Others said it felt more like a career crisis than a celebration. The internet can be brutal, and this moment quickly became another meme symbolizing how badly the movie was doing. To make it worse, this wasn't just a small movie struggling to get views, it was a $370 million Disney project. That's huge. Disney had put so much money and effort into this film, and now the star of the movie was basically live streaming its failure without even realizing it. In today's world, moments like these can go viral in minutes, and that's exactly what happened. The video didn't help the movie, it actually made more people talk about how badly it was doing. Some even said Rachel unintentionally became the perfect example of how not to promote a movie. She wasn't trying to hurt the film, she was trying to support it. But in the end, it just confirmed what everyone was already thinking. Nobody was watching Snow White. So instead of saving the movie, her support turned into more proof that the movie was in serious trouble. And when your star goes viral, not for the performance, but for an empty theater, you know things have gone off the rails. It started to look like a pattern, and people on the internet started to connect the dots. First, she said the original Snow White movie was creepy and weird. Then she talked about how she didn't like the love story in the film. Then she said fans would be lining up to see her, and that didn't happen. And finally, she posted a video of herself in an empty theater watching the movie alone. Each of those things, by themselves, might not seem like a huge deal. But when you put them all together, it started to look like Rachel wasn't really excited about the movie she was supposed to be promoting. In fact, some people started to say it felt like she was actively pushing fans away, without even meaning to. It was like every time she spoke about the movie, she gave people more reasons not to watch it. And here's where things really went south. The public started turning on her. On social media, people were calling her ungrateful and saying she didn't appreciate the opportunity Disney gave her. Some fans said she was acting like a victim, even though she had just landed the lead role in a legendary fairy tale remake. Others thought she was trying too hard to be woke or different, and that it came across as fake or forced. Some people even said she was trying to rewrite a classic story just to make it more modern or fit her own opinions, and that really made longtime Disney fans upset. And guess what happens when fans get upset? They don't buy tickets, they don't stream the movie, and they definitely don't recommend it to their friends. So instead of becoming Disney's next big princess success story, Rachel Zegler accidentally became part of one of Disney's biggest box office failures. And a lot of people believe that her attitude, especially the way she spoke about the movie, played a major role in that. When you're the face of a $370 million movie, everything you say matters. And when the pattern is full of negativity, it's going to hurt the project. Whether she meant to or not, Rachel's interviews and public appearances gave off the vibe that even she didn't believe in the movie, and that was enough to make audiences turn away. So, yeah, one bad interview won't destroy a film. But a whole bunch of them, a pattern of complaints, awkward comments, and viral moments, that can turn a movie into a meme and cost a company like Disney hundreds of millions of dollars. When all the backlash around Rachel Zegler started going viral, the interviews, the empty theater, the memes, and the fan anger, Disney tried to step in and do damage control. That means they tried to fix the situation before it got worse. They started changing how they promoted the movie. In some trailers and ads, they focused more on the visual effects or the setting, and less on Rachel herself. They tried to highlight other parts of the story that might bring back older fans. There were even rumors that they were editing scenes or reshooting parts of the movie to make it feel more like the original. But by that time, the internet had already made up its mind. People weren't just upset about what Rachel said, they were mad at Disney too. Fans felt like Disney was ignoring what made the original Snow White special. Others thought the studio was trying too hard to be modern, instead of telling a good story. Even big YouTubers, podcasters, and influencers were talking about the mess. The story wasn't just about a movie anymore. It had turned into a huge public controversy. And when that happens, it's really hard to win people back. Disney basically found itself stuck. If they defended Rachel, they looked out of touch. If they distanced themselves from her, they looked fake. No matter what they did, people were already calling it a flop before the movie even had a chance. By the time the movie hit theaters, the damage was already done. It's a reminder that even the biggest studios in the world, yes, even Disney, can lose control of the story. And once that happens, no amount of editing, trailers, or tweets can save a film from the court of public opinion. Sometimes when a movie flops, it's because it wasn't very good. But in this case, a lot of people think the movie failed before anyone even saw it, because of everything that happened outside the theater. And there you have it, the wild story behind how one of Disney's biggest movie hopes turned into a massive $800 million flop. From awkward interviews to empty theaters and viral quotes, Rachel Zegler's journey with Snow White has become one of the most talked about celebrity controversies of the year. Was it just bad timing, or did her own words seal the film's fate? We'll let you decide in the comments.